Taoiseach, I want to ask, when are we going to get legislation for 100% redress for those affected by apartment and duplex defects? It's now almost 2 years since the government received a report that revealed the scale of this problem, up to 100,000 families affected, as a consequence of a regime of self-certification introduced by Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. It is over a year since we had a very welcome political commitment from the government to say we're going to have a 100% redress scheme. But we don't have a bill, we don't have heads of bill, we have nothing to make that commitment a reality. There's an interim funding scheme, that's welcome, but that is not 100% redress. If we don't get the heads of bill very, very shortly, we're not going to have it in place before the end of this government, before a general election. Is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? This is having real impacts on people's lives. I'll give you a recent example. Morrowfield development in Tala next door is Deer Park are affected by water leaking, mould, damage to ceilings as a result of unsuitable tiles installed by the developer. But not only is it bad for those people living in it, but then when you have a case of an eviction by a landlord and the landlord actually is willing to sell to South Dublin County Council under the tenant in situ scheme to avoid the tenant entering homelessness, and South Dublin County Council says no, we will not be buying it because of the problems with this building, despite the fact that they actually already own 12% of properties in this development. So when are we going to have the legislation to deal with the underlying issue in terms of 100% redress, and will you make sure that tenant in situ does happen in these cases?
Just Deputy Murphy's questions on but that's not a matter for me now anyway. But leak investigations rarely lead anywhere unless they're actually willing to carry out searches of places and so on. And I don't think you're actually calling for that. Perhaps you are, but you would start. You know where the search would start, obviously. And I don't think you're calling for that. And I don't think people who believe in a free press would call for that. And to be very clear, I'm not calling for that.